Hey there everybody and welcome. It's Jackie here from stampingjack.com. It is Wednesday the 10th of November, which means that it's time for Facebook Live. So, welcome everybody. I'm just putting my glasses on so I can see what I'm doing. So, welcome. Let me know when you're here. Leave me a comment. I'm just going to double check that we're live and working. Okay, that looks good. Hi Diane, welcome. Good to see you. Let's see. Okie dokie. Hi Lynn, good to have you here. Good to see you. So I'm just going to try and get myself lined up here. It looks a bit skew with, but I think the picture is all right. So yes, it's good to see you all. I have to apologize for last week. I had something on Wednesday, so I rescheduled for Friday, and then I realized that I had to take my sister-in-law to the airport on Friday. So such is life. Hi Sophia, welcome. So here we are. It is Wednesday and it's time for some crafting. Now before we get going, there's just a couple of things that I need to tell you about. So coming up on between the 16th and 18th of this month, Stampin' Up! Is having a sale. So there'll be money off dies, inks and papers. So I'll post something straight after this video is finished with all the details for you. Hi Paulette, hi Doreen, good to have you with us. So yeah, I'll post all of those details afterwards. So for those of you in particular who are in Stamp Club, I'll be sending out the code for this month. Can you believe it's the last month of Stamp Club? Unbelievable. So I would hold off placing your orders this month until between the 16th and the 18th so that you can get your discount. So keep an eye out for the for that. There is also a special joining offer. I can't remember the details. They've just gone completely out of my head and I didn't write them down. So I will post those details for you again afterwards. There's a really good joining deal coming up. Other than that, don't think there's much to tell you about. So just to remind you that last week we made some nice autumnal type cards using the Gorgeous Leaves bundle. Well, not last week, the week before now. So if you missed that video, do check it out. If you're watching me on YouTube on the replay, then give me a thumbs up and check out this last video. So last time, Kat, who I don't know if Kat's on here or not, Kat requested that I do something with Whimsical Trees. So tonight we are going to be playing with the Whimsical Trees stamp set and coordinating dies. Hi Terry, miss you too, good to see you. So when I started working on these, after Kat asked for it, I was thinking, I'll try and see if I can do some non-Christmas cards with these. But you know what? It's the middle of November. It's really time to get cracking on our Christmas cards. So I've got some fun cards for you tonight with these. Now, a lot of the images that are online and the images in the catalogue using this bundle is coordinating. It goes with the coordinating papers. And I have to admit, I'm a bit of a traditionalist when it comes to Christmas. I'm not a huge fan of the pinks and purples and things like that as Christmas. So what I'm going to try and do tonight is use a more traditional colour palette, so to speak, to just kind of give it a little bit of a different look. Because I really love these dies, but some of the projects that I kind of look at, and because it's not my taste, I kind of like, would go past it. So let's try and do something a little bit more traditional. Ooh, we've got a sad face. Who's sad? So yeah, we'll see how we go. Now, I do have one project planned for you later on, which is not Christmas. And what I need from you, because I haven't decided yet, is leave me in the comments below your favorite 2-color combination. And I will see what I can do with this when we get to it later. But I'm going to start off with something really, really simple. And this is using now I have to remember the name of this. This paper. Let me just check the name of it. Let's see if anybody knows it before I get to check it in the catalogue. I can race you. and see. So this is the this is the Tidings of Christmas paper, which is from the annual catalogue. So Terry says purple and silver. Kat says magenta madness and gorgeous grape. Oh, some interesting combinations there. Right, so what we're going to do is I'm going to start with a layer of Whisper White. So this is just our normal card base size. And then I've cut a piece of this paper. So I've used sort of Christmassy. In fact, do you know what? Do I change my mind? I think I will, actually. I'd originally thought about this, but then I think I might go for something different. I think I'm going to go for something even more Christmassy. I'm going to go for the red. Okay, so I'm just going to cut myself a 10 by 14 piece of this. Just bear with me a second. As usual, I'm changing my mind, but that's my prerogative, okay? So there we go, there's our 10 by 14 layer. And then I have a 9.5 by 13.5 layer, so it's just 1 centimetre shorter. And this is a really, really, really simple card. And those of you who know me know that when it comes to Christmas cards, I like them to be super simple. Now I'm just checking the measurements on these. This one doesn't look quite right. Let me have a look. This is 13.5 by 9.5, yeah. This is 14 by 10. Maybe it's just the way the stripes work, but it didn't look like it was even. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to die cut from the center of this piece. So let me grab my mini boss machine. And I'll put my plates somewhere. Here they are. So you can see I'm just lining this up in the center of my piece. And I'll just run that through. Okay. There we go. Let's pop that down. So now what we have is we have a nice aperture, like so. Okay. And, oops, my light's gone out. My light's gone a bit dodgy. There we go. Right, so looking at that, I have changed my mind once again. I don't like the stripes, so I'm going to do a different one. So let me know what you think. Do you prefer the stripe? Or do you prefer the floral? Okay, I'm just going to grab a scrap. Bear with me, I'm just looking for the sentiments that I wanted for this. So just wanted to use a very plain sentiment. So floral, says Sue. Floral, says Sophia. And I'm going to use the Merry Christmas, which is from the Sparkle of the Season stamp set, which is one of my favourites. I'm planning to play with that next week. Okay. Alright, so now I've just got, when I trim my cardstock, I just keep all of my scraps. So these are handy for when I want to do a sentiment. So let me just grab a strip. There we go, that should work. Yep. Okay, so now let's grab, I'm going to use some Evening Evergreen, just for a bit of contrast. There we go. And then grab my banner punch and just do a little tail on the end. Okay. And then this needs a little bit of embellishment. So I've got a little bit of our iridescent ribbon. I'm just going to tie that in a bow. Okay, so now let's grab our glue. So this type of card design is really easy to make en masse because you can just cut out the bits and assemble. And I'm trying to finish off my glue, but I'm trying not to start a new one when I've still got a little in the other bit, because otherwise I just end up with lots of almost empty glue bottles. So let's just stick that down. There we go, and then this is going to be popped up on dimensionals. So now you could make this a shaker card if you wanted. I had planned to make it a shaker card, if I'm honest, but I couldn't find my acetate, so it's just going to have to be a straightforward aperture card. And because of that, I'm just putting a lot more dimensionals than I usually would. You guys who know me well will know that I wouldn't normally put quite so much on here, but it just helps to keep it popped up. Nearly all of them. There we go. Have I tried using the other end of the glue, Sue? Do you know, I haven't. That's a good tip. I shall try that and see how we do. Okay, so then I'm going to pop the Merry Christmas up as well. Even try and get it on straight, and then I'll retie that bow because it got a bit twisted. That's better. Okay, and then we'll grab a couple of glue dots and make sure that I've actually picked the glue dot up off. There we go. Add that to the top, and then I'm just going to trim this off ever so slightly. Give it a bit of a curl. And there we go. Really, really simple, easy to mass produce card. And again, you could use this, you could do this design with any kind of tree or any kind really. If you had I think I've done it before using a reindeer or a bauble or any kind of solid shape that you want to cut out that then just shows off your paper underneath. And then you're left with another piece which you can use on another project. Okay, so that's card number 1. Okay, now for card number 2. Okay, my favourite part of this die set are these little trees here. I think they are just absolutely gorgeous. So what I'm going to do is I've got, no, that's not the one I want. I want to do a bit of white on white now. So I've got a scrap here, piece of evening evergreen. I've got a small piece. Just trim this down. And what I'm going to do is just cut out a few of these trees. So I'm going to bring back in my mini boss. Okay, and my plate for that is where? There it is. The joys of putting down a clear plate on your craft table. Okay, there we go. So I'm going to cut out a few of these, and what I love is that they give you a little bit of texture as well. Can you see that? Really, really cute. Okay, and then I'll do another one. Oops. So we've had 2 suggestions for a 2-color combination. Has anybody else got any others? We've got purple and silver and magenta madness and gorgeous grape. Anybody got any other suggestions? So you can see on this one, I know I won't need the full length of the stem for this one. In fact, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the shorter one. So one of them has a long stem and one of them has a short stem. I love these little trees. They're really, really sweet. Okay. So I think that should do us for now. Let's pop that down. Okay, and then what I'm going to do is I've done a tent fold Whisper White card base. Lynn says yellow and blue. Oh, that sounds nice. And then I've got a 10 by 14 layer of white, and I am going to do a bit of embossing on it. So I'm going to use, this is a Floral Art embossing folder. So this is a bit big for my mini boss, so I'm just going to go do that now. 1 second. folder has just got stuck. 1 second. Okay, there we go. So now we've got our layer. Okay. And then I've done this the wrong way around. Hang on a minute. Okay, this is for the next project that I want to do. So we've just got a plain layer, and then I want my artistically inked stamp set here. And I'm going to use my favourite splotch, and I'm going to use my soft, succulent ink. And grab some scrap paper. I was getting ahead of myself there and confusing two different cards. So you'll see the next one in a minute. Okay, so what I'm going to do is take this, and then I'm going to stamp off twice. That actually is an opportunity to give you a little tip about our distinctive stamps. So these stamps have got lots of texture in them, but if you've got a juicy ink pad, you lose some of that texture. So what you need to do, because I've just recently re-inked this one, is just take a spoon, back of a spoon, and just work the ink into the ink pad. So you know the ink will come back up to the surface once you've closed the ink pad and it's rested for a bit. But what it means then is that when you do ink this up, you get a much better impression. Okay, so I said I'm going to stamp this off twice because I only want a very, very subtle piece here. Okay, and then we've got the Merry Christmas. Yep, I'm going to grab another strip. I'm going to ink that up in my Evening Evergreen again. There we go. So I think this needs a little bit more on the back, so I'm going to take my soft succulent, stamp off, ink again, and let's see, I think we probably need 3 or maybe okay, so we're just going to do it on the bottom. So then I'm just going to grab some mini dimensionals. So I'm using black ones here. Oops. Okay, so I'm going to pop that up. like so, and then just trim the edges. Now, looking at it and thinking about it, I think this might look better on an evening evergreen card base. So let's bring that in. See what you think. Yeah. Okay, so I think that looks a lot better than the white. And then let's close up my ink pads. Just realize that that's not straight, so let's just straighten up our sentiment strip. And then I've got the subtle shimmer sequins. Okay, and then what I'm going to do is just add a couple of them. So I'm going to bring my take a pick tool. So here we've got some silver and we've got some white ones. So I'm going to use got some different sizes, so I want quite a large one for down here because I've put down a large blob of glue. So there we go. The easiest way to see what we're doing is to just take a few out. Here we are. And I think I want, let's do another white one up here. And then let's do a couple more, just teeny little dots. Okay, because I'm going to do some silver. Yeah, and then one more up here, just to add a bit of sparkle. There we go. Move that out of the way, and then let's, oh, got a sequin. And then we can just, one more step is a little bit of spritzing. So bring back in our scrap. And add a little bit of shimmer on there. And then while that dries, I'm just going to put my dimensionals on my base. Don't normally do it round this way, but rather than waiting for it to dry, and I also don't want to turn my piece over and perhaps move my sequins. So I'm loving Evening Evergreen and Soft Succulent as Christmas colours. And you remember from when those colours, that they're the two of our new in colours, when they were first launched earlier this year, I was absolutely can't wait for Christmas with these colours. So I love the Evening Evergreen in particular. Okay, so there we are. There's card number 2. Okay, so next up, let's go back to, I'm going to need a couple more of these trees, so let me just do that quickly. go. Okay. And then whilst I have it out, the other thing I've got to do is I've got another die set. So this is the Inspiring Canopy die set, and I'm going to use this piece here because I'm going to create effectively a snowbank. So I've got my piece, and what I'm going to do is to cut it like so, okay? And that's a little bit wide to go through here, so I'm just going to cut that now. Okay, so now we effectively have 2 snowbanks. So we're just going to do one for tonight and keep the other. So what I've got is a Whisper White layer. Then Evening Evergreen, and then Whisper White. Okay, and then we're just going to take this piece and add it to our white layer for the moment. So we can take this away. Okay. And then we're just going to take our trees. And again, just create a piece there, and then we'll grab our Merry Christmas. And I'm going to use some soft succulent this time, just for a bit of a change. Let me see if I can get this straight. There we go. Right, and then what we have is we've got this tall skinny tree here. So again, using my soft succulent, using this, I'm going to just create a little bit of background. Okay, I'm going to stamp off. Just create some trees in the background here. So I think we need another little one just there. There we go. Okay, so again, I'm going to glue this one down. I'm not sticking this piece down yet until I'm happy with the positioning of all my other bits. Okay, and I'm going to glue this one. And then we'll pop this one up. So again, I'm using my black dimensionals so that it's less visible. And then this is going to be popped up. So again, I'm putting quite a few along the top for the moment. And then I'm going to paste some here. So I'm going to trim the end of this off once I've adhered it. There we go. So now you can see I've got some space around the edges. I'm just going to trim that off. And I use the edge of my cardstock here as my guide for my scissors, so I get a nice straight cut. Okay. And then I've got I don't know whether to use, I think I'm going to use we've got our soft succulent ribbon and our evening evergreen ribbon. Let's see which one I want to use. So there's our card. Butterfingers tonight. My bit bow challenge this evening, which is unusual. There we go. So, do we want soft succulent? Or do we want evening evergreen? I'm going to clean my stamps off a little bit while you ladies decide. Create a bit of space here. As usual on my Facebook Live, everything's a complete mess. Hey ho, that's the joy of crafting. Evening evergreen, evening evergreen. 2 votes for evening evergreen. Okay. Yep, alright, evening evergreen it is. We aim to please, ladies. And then we'll just grab our glue dot. Okay, and then again we're going to bring in our sequins. And add a little bit of sparkle. Here's the hardest part, as usual, is where to put our sequins. So let's start with that. And I think we'll go with some nice silver. Oh, the silver one. So in here what we've got is we've got white, sort of like a matte opaque white, and then we've got a matte silver, and then we've got these proper silver. Let's just try and get that on there rather than stuck up my fingernail. That's the problem with the really small ones. There we go. Alright, we can just glue our layers together. Okay, and then we'll glue this down. Onto our base. There we go. Okay. Alrighty. Okay, so now for our next card, for my next trick. First of all, let's put some of this stuff away. Okay. Okay, so we've got another evening evergreen base and a whisper white layer. And I haven't quite decided yet whether I'm going to use this layer or not. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut out some layers. So we've got this piece here, which lays on top of this piece here. So this kind of creates like a snowy effect. So what I've got here, and I don't know if you're going to be able to see this on the camera, but this is our velvet cardstock or velvet paper. So I'm going to use this die to cut out this piece. And I'm going to use some soft succulent, which I did have a scrap of somewhere, but let me get another one. Hang on. Okay. And I'm going to cut this layer out. Okay. Let's put those up there. Okay. See what, this little machine is so useful for just doing these. It takes probably 90% of the die cutting that I want to do. I can usually do with this machine rather than my big one, which is really great. Okay, so it means I don't have to get up from my desk to go and do my die cutting. Okay. You can see what that does. Layer these two together like so. Isn't that cool? All right, and then I'm sure I can find a use for all of these, but not right now. Okay. So let's bring back in our pieces. Oop, my light is playing up again. Excuse me. It should be a bit better. Okay. So now the question is, do I have it on a layer of Evening Evergreen? Nope, it's Whisper White, isn't it? It's got to be that. I answered my own question. Which is good, I suppose, because I'm the one that's supposed to be providing you with inspiration and not the other way around. But I do like to have your input. Oops. So I'm going to just glue this down. And as I said, I don't know if you can see this on the camera, but the texture on this is absolutely lovely. So let's just do that. And then I think in here, so what I've done is I've saved from previous cuttings some of the, so in the set here, you've got these little dies. So this cuts out lots of little stars and this cuts out lots of little baubles. So I've got some stars and baubles from before. Okay, so let's just pop these out. Okay, let's bring this back in. Let's okay, and then where's my so then I'm going to take here and let's see if I can fit these on here. I want to do wishing you Christmas cheer and magic moments that last all year. So I don't know if this will fit on my circle, but let's see. No. So I'm going to just go for joy instead, because that will fit. There we go. So we'll stamp that in Evening Evergreen. I'm just going to test this because this joy's got a funny orientation, so I haven't used it before. So when I'm using my red rubber, I like to, so you see that looks straight to me, but when I stamp it, it's not. So I just need to figure out the best way. I could put the sticker on the back, but I don't really like putting the stickers on my, there we go. So what I need to do is I just need to point it that way. Oops. There we are. And on a circle, it's not so bad, because you can just move the circle. Okay. And then I'll just grab, I need my ribbon. I've got my iridescent ribbon here, and that's going to go around, oops, like so. Yep. Okay, so let's grab a little snail adhesive. I like to use this just to hold my ribbon in place so that I can position it. There we go. And then we'll pop our Christmas tree up. Oops. I'm not putting the dimensionals all the way to the top because my tree is going to sit over my circle. So it's going to hang over. Go. And I have decided I'm not going to do my baubles. Instead, I've got a couple of these little stars, which I think will look better. If I can get it out. There we go. And then I think, oh, there's another one. Then I think I'll add a bow. Gosh, I really am butterfingers tonight with my bows. I don't know what's going on. So I just want to make my bow quite small. Because I just want it to sit at the side like that. I love this iridescent ribbon. It's a little bit stiff, but once you get it into a shape, it kind of holds it really nicely. There we go. So now, that, let's bring back in some of our sequins as well, I think. I don't know if you can see that. In fact, what I'm going to do is I have a little scrap here, so I'm just going to squeeze some glue out onto my scrap, like that, and then I'll use my Take a Pick tool, because I really do just want some teeny tiny pieces. So let's pop this up first. Okay. So who has started on their Christmas cards already? Anybody? Are you well advanced, just getting going, or still trolling Pinterest looking for inspiration? Go. Now that tells me where I've got spaces that I'll want to put a star. Okay. And now I'm going to take some of the teeny tiny white sequins, because I think these will show up really nicely. I can get it to stick. Here we go, and I think probably want something here. For that, I'm going to grab a silver, sort of a matte silver sequin. And I think maybe one down here. The joy of random. We're getting it to look random. Okay. There we go. Alrighty. And then we'll bring back in our pieces. I'm just going to glue our whisper white, or our basic white I should say, to our evening evergreen base. Then pop that down. Okay, so there we go. So now that's our second to last card. So now I'm going to go back to my original question to you ladies for your requested colour scheme. So I had blue and yellow, magenta madness and gorgeous grape, or purple and silver. Now for the design I have in mind, I could do silver, but that would involve embossing and that would just take too long. And I think actually what I want to do is probably more suited to a masculine card. So I'm going to go for blue and yellow. So I'm going to do Misty Moonlight and Bumblebee, because I don't use those colours very often. And I think I'm going to take a layer of, we'll have some cinnamon cider, I think we'll use as well. No, let's just grab some cinnamon cider. Okay. There we go. Got that there. Let's bring in our card. So what we need is just this piece, and I'm going to use this stamp set here. Okay. So I'm just going to let's draw a very light pencil line, just to give me an idea for placement. Got my ink pads, that's the bumblebee and the misty moonlight. Okay, so what I'm going to do is like so, and I'm going to clean off in between. Normally I do all my colours of stamping in one go, but I won't get what I want if I do that, so I'm going to have to clean off between each inking. Just got to be careful when moving from the blue to the yellow, really. Go. And then ribbon. I'm just looking for the best ribbon to use. I think we use the gold, but I've got some here. Yep, and I'm just going to get a scrap of misty moonlight. Okay, so I'll trim that to 9.5. And let's see. Let's make it 6. That's it. Okay. And now I'm just going to go back and rub out these pencil lines. So you can see I'm not worried about what's going on down here because I know it's going to get covered up. Okay, so just glue that down. Looking right at my glue. So I love how you can just use the dots on this to create that fun background. There we go, and then I'll just do that. Go. So now I'm just going to grab a sentiment to put on that. Just 1 second. Do I go for my No. I'm going to stick to hello. Let's do that in cinnamon spider, just for a bit of a change. Ooh. You can see I've used it quite a lot. It's if your stamps do that, if they stop being sticky at the back, it's because they're dirty. So just wipe them down like you would the front of your stamp, and that should make it nice and sticky again. There you go. Okay, so now let's pop these up. Right. I've only got mini dimensionals to hand, but they'll do. Okay, and then we've got our brushed metallic dots. So I'm going to use the copper ones, I think. Again, these are nice embellishments for mail cards. Yeah, let's pop a little one. No, let's leave it just as it is. Don't want to go over the top. Okay, so then we can glue this to our cinnamon cider. go, and then glue that to our card base. So there we go. Little bonus is a non-Christmas card using our Christmas stamp set. Okay, so now let's bring back in our cards. Now it's over to you. It's time for you to vote. So which is your favorite? Is it card number 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5? So let me know in the comments which one is your favorite. So whilst you're voting, let me just remind you that we've got our sale happening. So that's money off dies, paper and ink, which runs from the 16th to the 18th of November. As I said, I will post the details of that into the comments below after I've finished. And we've also got a new joining offer coming up, so I'll post the details of that because I haven't remembered what they are yet. My brain is just going to, I don't know, life is just very, 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 very busy at the moment. But hey ho, it's better than the alternative. The good news is that Kevin is here permanently. He's my husband. Kevin is permanently here now. He brought all of his stuff earlier this week, so that is super, super, super. He can actually settle in now. And I'm also going home to Ireland for Christmas to see my family. So I shall actually be there on Christmas Eve, which I'm really, really excited about. So, as I said, let me know what your favourite is. I appear to have frozen on my screen. I hope I haven't frozen for you guys. So is it 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5? Let me know in the comments. And also next week Facebook Live won't be on Wednesday because I have to go to the UK to pick Rupert up from school. So I'll need to work out my diary. It may well be Tuesday next week, but I will pop it up and let you guys know. So I'll see you one day next week. Take care. Bye.